Hi, everyone. Greetings from Brazil. I'm very glad to be here today to share my insights, my thoughts, my knowledge, my experience regarding innovation. And I'm very grateful for to be invited to be here. I'm a big fan of China because I have friends in China. I admire the way that China do innovation. China nowadays is one of the best countries in innovation performance. That's why I'm so glad to be here to share this knowledge with all of you. Today, I'm going to talk about how to innovate in 6 steps. I'm going to show you the methodology I developed along the 30 years traveling around the world. I've already been in more than 80 countries, interacting with innovators, startups, entrepreneurs, teachers, students, because I used to work with entrepreneurship, education, and innovation for a long time. So that's why I identified the best way to show how to innovate in companies, in universities, in schools, in government. That's exactly what I'm going to show you right now. Let's start right now. As I told before, this methodology, these 6 steps can be applied not only in companies, in startups and small, medium, and big companies, but also it can be applied in the academic institutions, in government institutions, because nowadays I'm working in the government, in the innovation sector. My role is to identify solutions for the government and apply it to make better, easier, faster, and more effective the solutions to be applied to make the quality of life of the people, the citizens, better. I've been working in the government of Espírito Santo State, one of the most developed state in Brazil. And at the end of this presentation, I'm going to show you how to apply this methodology immediately in your company, in your academic institution, or in your government as well. Let's start. The first step to be innovative, to apply innovation in your institution, doesn't matter if it's in your business, startup, medium, big, or small size companies, the government and the academia, you need to start making the diagnosis. I'm a veterinarian, so I used to do this before I create some kind of schedule of treatment for sick animal. I need to do the diagnosis to see how is the state of that animal, that patient, and only after that I can start some kind of treatment. In innovation is the same. You cannot think about to start innovating without doing the diagnosis. What is diagnosis mean? This means that you need to know the team that you work with. For example, in my case, in the government and many startups and the companies that have been giving some kind of mentorship, some kind of consultancy, the first step is to talk to people individually, because you cannot treat people as a number. You must treat people as a human being. Why? Because if you not create this kind of connection with the people that you are going to work, people will not be engaged. People will not be connected with the project that you want to start. People need to trust in the leader which is conducting the innovation process. People must to be immersed. People must be involved in the process of innovation. This part of the project. Why? Because when you give the people the opportunity to give their opinions, to have their opinions heard, and when this opinion is something that can add value to your project, you must follow it, not because you are the leader, the chief executive officer, that your opinion will be the only one which will apply. Remember, innovation is a cooperative process. Ideas can be individual, but innovation must be a collective process. So in the step one, what I used to do in my consultancies, I used to talk to people to make the diagnosis. All the team fill a form. In this form, they will answer many questions regarding their personal life, their aspirations, their dreams, their fears about life, about work, about their jobs. So you need to know very well each person which make part of your team. After that, you are gonna know your persona. Who is your persona? It depends. It depends. If you are the leader who will be responsible for introduce the innovation culture, the innovation mentality in the university, your target people, your persona, your customer will be both teachers and students, because you need, first of all, to have success, we need to evolve teachers in the process. The kind of management, top down, don't work, because as I said before, you need to involve all the people in the process. After you made the diagnosis of the team, you need to make the diagnosis of the customer persona. So you need to make the immersion. You need to take your team and go where the problem is. If it's university, you need to go to the classroom. You need to talk to students. You need to talk to the families of the students to hear their opinions. If you are innovating in a company, you need to go there where the people, the customer are. You need to spend some time with them. You need to follow their routine. You need to follow all the rules that they take in the moment they have the first contact with your product, your service, and follow him or her at the end of the journey. You need to know the user experience, all the trajectory of the user experience, and of course, you need to understand how they are feeling about your product or about your service. And if you are in the government, of course, you need to do this process with the citizens, because there is no sense to develop some public policies without involve the citizens. The citizens is your target public. They need to co-create the solutions with you. That's exactly what I'm doing here in the government of Espírito Santo State as a subsecretary of Innovation and Public Management. So after you understand the profile of your team, understand the profile of your customers, you need to understand which are the challenges that they used to have. You need to understand, to validate the challenges, because the most products launched in the market fail. Why? Because people use it to look for the challenges by researching on internet or by hiring some consultancies without interacting with the people. That's the recipe for the failure. You need to interact with the people, you need to validate, because the most of time when you put together people who are experts in the innovation, in the marketing, in the science and technology, and create the product inside the laboratory or inside the development and innovation sector in your company or inside the room of the university, without putting the customers together, it will fail. So remember, in the first step, you need to understand people, customers, people who makes part of the team, and people who must be involved in this process, the stakeholders, your suppliers, and all other people that must have very important role in this process. Next step is perception. After we are aware about the challenges of the target people, the first step is to start brainstorming. How can you do this? You must evolve, as I said before, not only the people who used to be the experts. Usually people has a department of the marketing, innovation, communication, and people only take these people to create ideas, to create solutions, innovations for that challenge. It's wrong. It's wrong, completely wrong. Because in the company, in university, startup, etc., all people has contribution to do. When you put apart people from other departments, financial, commercial, etc., if you don't give them the opportunity to have their voice heard, you are losing a lot of opportunities to make your idea, your innovation, despite of it's a product, service, or new course for your university, you are losing a great opportunity to make it more valuable. Why? Because each people who works in your company, in your university, in your startup, has knowledge, has experience, and of course they can contribute together with the customers with the success of your innovation. Remember that this is the moment that the ideas will come up. How can I use this? I do some workshops, I make the creativity to come up, and after that we create a lot of solutions, and then we are going to validate these solutions with a minimal viable product directly with the customers. We need to validate both the problem and the solutions. Next step is the product. So you are going to take all these ideas and then you materialize, you make that ideas tangible as a prototype. So this minimal viable product will be tested with your customers, with your personas. Doesn't matter if the students, if people who will buy some product that you are gonna to produce, or to hide some service that you offer. Doesn't matter if you be an application for smartphone or for desktop. Doesn't matter. The process must be followed. These steps must be followed, and I'm quite sure, I can assure you that you are going to have a success. So next step, after you have understand how people work, create a bunch of ideas, because to be creative, to create innovation, to have a great idea, you must to have a lot of ideas. You select the best one, the most feasible ideas, the most innovative, the most creative, and of course, the ideas that the people, the customers will like more. Then you prototype it, these ideas, tested it, and now you have the MVP, the minimum viable product, to show to your customers. But remember, if you are a startup who will need some kind of funding from investors, you need to know this better than anyone. The investors don't buy ideas or products. They buy solutions which can solve a real problem, but not only the solution, the app for smartphone or some kind of product or service, but they buy the business. They buy the quality of the team. The team, to be successful, must be multidisciplinary team. You need to put together people with a lot of experience, knowledge in many areas, because when you put together all of these areas, all of these people, the innovation can happen. So in this step 4, planning, you are gonna organize your business. You are to the business model canvas. You are gonna establish which will be the key performance indicators, because you need to measure the results of your business. Otherwise, it will fail. Because if you don't know where you are right now and where you want to arrive in the end of the journey, you are completely lost. In the same way, the pilot of the airplane will be lost if they have no flight plan. So remember that in this step, you are going to organize your business. And in this way, you are let the investors more confident to put money in your idea, in your product, in your service, in your application or smartphone. Doesn't matter which you will be. Remember to call attention of your customers, to call attention of the investors, to call attention of the commercial partners. You need to have a solution for the real problem. And remember, as much more frequent is this problem that you are gonna solve, better for you, for the investors, for your commercial partners. Instead of to develop some solutions to be applied once a year, for example, when people renew the security of their car or homes, think about to develop some solutions for problems which occurs every day or at least every week. Problems as health concerns, problem regarding public transportation, problems regarding personal security. So remember, you need to solve problems that occurs frequently. The next step will be protection. What does intellectual property protection means? It means to turn the abstract assets into a financial assets. Turn an idea, turn a brand into a very valuable asset. I'm going to give you an example. There are a lot of brands famous around the world. And after some time, the brand itself has more value than the product that the brand is connected with. So remember, you need to protect your product by applying by patent or software protection or the brand So there are a lot of forms to, so there are a lot of ways to protect your intellectual property. Don't miss this step. This is very important. How I used to work. When I arrive at the university or at the company, I do the research to identify which kind of scientific projects can be turned into a product market solution. And then I'm looking for the possibility to patent, to protect it. Because when you have some protection, intellectual property protection, you add a lot of value to that product or that application for software, or for that software which can be used for application of smartphone or web platform and much more. And finally, we're gonna talk about the last step is promotion. Promotion here is the time that you are gonna prepare your pitch, your presentation to be done to the potential investors, potential commercial partners, or potential customers. You need to develop your communication skills. In the same way, you need to develop your empathy, your emotional intelligence. In the step one, when you need to interact with a lot of people from your team, from your customers, from your stakeholders, you need to have this facility, you need to have this practice to talk to people with great confidence, with self-confidence, self-esteem, and with persuasion way. So all of this methodology, Genome of Innovation, is based in the neuroscience principles. And the neuroscience shows that people don't think rationally. People think emotionally. That's why you need to connect to people by using the emotions power. That's why the communication, the right way of communication is so important. I used to talk about the self-leadership focus in the human being, because you need to treat people as a human being, not as a number, as I told before. So in this step, we help people to develop their skills of communication. We use the tools of social media, of the traditional marketing tools to take our solutions to the right person. In this case, to our customers. So finally, I'd like to reinforce this point. Less tech, more touch. Too much technology, people don't talk to each other, people don't mind about the other's emotion. In all companies, universities, startups, government, institutions that have been working in the last 30 years, I focus in this point. You need to give more importance to people than to technology. Technology is not the goal. The goal is the people, the well-being of people. Technology is just a way, just a tool that can use it to achieve this goal. As I promised, I'm going to give you the very powerful tool that I've been using in the government, in the companies, startups, in the universities. The name of this project is Dialogues for Innovation. What I used to do, once a week, I put together people from all departments of the company, university, startups, etc. And in this moment, we can give all of them the opportunity to express their ideas, their insights, their opinions about some challenges that the company, university, startup, or the government is passing by. Using this approach, giving the people the opportunity to express themselves, many ideas flow up. So that's why we need to follow this guidelines. You need to create a culture of innovation by creating a habit. You need to do this all week. Don't stop, because in the beginning, many people can be a little uncomfortable because some people don't like to communicate to each other because they prefer to talk to machines, to virtual assistants. So that's why you need to not give up. You need to keep doing until the people start missing the events. That's exactly what used to happen when I apply this method. So, of course, you need to be consistent. It's a marathon. Innovation is a marathon. It's not a short race. You need to be prepared to go to the long. You must be prepared to go to the long run, and only in this way you're gonna have the success. The third one is empowered to motivate people. As soon as we give the people the opportunity to express themselves, to make part of the solution, they will be motivated, engaged, because they will be part of the solution. They will be awarded by their efforts. When I say awarded, not means to give a raise in the salaries. The public recognition for people is the best way to motivate them in all aspects. Nowadays in the government, I use it to show the people how important for the citizens, mainly for the poor citizens, how important, how valuable will be many solutions for some challenges they are helping to build. So in this way, you give to them the purpose and the legacy to make them more motivated and more connected with the problem. You need to reserve money and time, of course, to create innovation, because you need to have some funding to not stop into the ideas. You need to turn these ideas in the prototype, as I told you before, and then you need to create this environment which involves multidisciplinary people in the team, co-creation with the customers, some funding which can be used for innovation. Remember, innovation is an uncertain way. So it's not 100% sure that all the money that you are going to put in innovation development will be a success. So be prepared to fail, because innovation means to fail, to turn on, to pivot, and adapt that solution for the challenge. And then with this mentality, you can keep innovating despite of sometimes you are going to fail, but the failure will be used as a learning tool. So that's it. Thanks for your time, your attention. It was a great pleasure to share this knowledge, this experience. And I'm quite sure if you do exactly what the 6 steps showed you to do, it will happen. The innovation will happen. And I'm looking forward to being in China in person as soon as possible to interact with all these brilliant inventors, teachers, students, entrepreneurs that I've been talking to along the years. I've already been in China sometimes, and all my time in China was very profitable. The beautiful country with beautiful people, and I'm here from Brazil, and I'm gonna say once more, thank you very much for your attention and your time, and I hope I could add some value to your time by listening and watching this speech. See you soon. Bye-bye. Greetings from Brazil.